back. Like we told you, we'll be back every single day, fam. We want to say real quick, we appreciate everybody who follows the podcast, who's sharing and liking the videos. We encourage you to continue to do that before we get into this content. This show right here is going to be fire. Yes, I'm telling you, it's a lot of hot content. We got a real good perspective, on this. So we was actually, man, yesterday, I got to tell them this quick story. We was both watching the whole Joe Buddens response, because we know we did our segment last week, and we talked about Rosenburg going all the way in on Joe Buddens, and a lot of people in the comments sided with Joe Budden unanimously. But Joe Buddens actually got a chance to sit down got back from vacation, to rest himself and actually focus in. And I'm telling you, he went all the way in on Rosenburg as if he never knew Rosenburg. Sandman actually has clips of that, and we're going to get to that
on this podcast. Rest in peace to Triple X. Last week on this podcast, I started in a very somber state. I was very sad. I was beside myself. I was going through things, and I had just taken like the greatest nap at Park's house. So when niggas woke me up, and we just hopped right on the mic pause. And that was kind of how it went. In my car listening to ESPN radio, and I heard Pete Rosenberg alongside his co-hosts Don LaGreca and Michael Kay, two Trump supporters. I heard him interrupt his Yankee broadcast, because that's what they were talking about, to break the news that Triple X had died, to his audience that was not a hip-hop audience. But he prefaced it by letting us know that he is a hip-hop journalist, so that's why he had to do it. And when these gentlemen were saddened by the news, they said, "Oh, man, that's horrible. Who was this young man?" The first thing that Pete Rosenberg said was, "Well, he was no angel." And I was upset about that last week. So I called him out on it, on my podcast, right? I want to use this as a teachable moment for all. First of all, I want to say, I heard a lot of people saying, "Damn, Joe, it's fucked up, man. You should have called him." Let me clear something up for you people out there. No, I shouldn't have. That line is so overrated in the culture. Yo, you should have called him. I never want to talk to these people on the phone. He is a pretty sensitive guy who already feels a way toward Joe Budden about some things. Oh, he also feels like he should be credited for the success of this podcast somehow. He's even tweeted that. That Peter Rosenberg is not a creative. He doesn't create from scratch. He reports on it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But Pete, you continue to compound mistake with mistake with mistake. You then went on Twitter and said that I needed to listen to 20 more minutes of you and your fucking liberal, conservative ass friends. Let me tell you something, Pete. I did. I listened. Y'all got off that topic very quickly and went back to the Yankees. That's why I was offended in the first place. And just in case I was mistaken, right? If maybe you did that in a moment of passion and confusion on your little fuckity fuck complex show where you write monologues that's super trash that nobody cares about, you went and echoed the same exact sentiment of he was no angel. That's a real bad habit we got in this culture today, where people just refuse to admit a wrong.
All right, let me stop it right there. Oh God, first off, what's up with radio and their issue with podcasts and the internet?
They're jealous, man. They jealous, man, because it's almost like it's corporate, and Dame Dash always talk about this. It's kind of the corporate independent thing. You got the Hot 97, and shout out to them again. We grew up on them, idolizing that radio station. They had some of the best artists, DJs, music that come out ever. In the world, probably one of the best radio stations in the world. But it's like, now you got people, again, like I said before, that are self-made, independent, that don't have to kiss no corporate ass, that demand respect. And like I said before, and people in the comments, shout out to people at Hip Hop News Uncensored in the comment section, because y'all went in on that, saying that, look, Joe Budden is the future, and podcasting is where it's at. I mean, I was just getting food today, and people talking about everything. Podcast is the new thing. The Breakfast Club, kick down the door, drink champs, et cetera, et cetera. So I sense a little bit of hostility and, the old dinosaurs, kind of, looking at, and this has always been a dynamic in our communities, the older people not really wanting to pass the torch to the younger ones that's coming up, man. Because really, when you look at it, I'd rather listen to Joe Buttons than Rosenberg 10 times out of 10.
Well, I mean, we grew up on him, we listened to him, but it's time for a new era. And it's either you're going to move aside and teach the younger generation how to do it and give them game and let them move how the wave is moving, or you're going to adapt to the time and move how the fucking wave is moving. And I think that they're having a hard time, Hot 97 in particular. And like you said, we got love for them. And if they ever got wind of this, we're going to get trashed on it. You already know Ebro, and then we're going to go in on us in some kind of way if they ever got wind of this. But it's true. It's true. Like, you don't really understand the power and the magnitude of what's going on in it, or you do, and for some reason or another, you can't keep up with the pace. Joe Budden's podcast and Joe Budden's platform is monstrous.
500,000, almost 500,000 subscribers, you know, and growing.
And it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. He's only getting stronger. And what he's saying is real, and people connect with it. So instead of you bigging them up, like you said, in this culture, it just seems as though once it's time for someone to move aside or evolve with the time, they don't want to big up, or they don't want to try to help out the ones underneath them.
Is Rosenberg a culture vulture? Because a lot of people said that in the comment section. They was like, this dude is a culture vulture. He has no right to even speak. What do you think, Sam, man?
I'm going to let Joe talk on it, and then I'm going to get back to my perspective.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
I've watched you repeatedly suck Mike Tyson's dick on air, off air.
We won't talk about that one. We'll edit that one out. But he sucked his dick. That's for the people on the podcast. Y'all, thank you for watching on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, all that.
Yes, sir. Uncensored.
That's it.
I think Peter Rosenberg knows his place in this culture. Peter Rosenberg's place in this culture is the whitewash urban guy. Peter Rosenberg, that is your place on all of your platforms. Look around, my nigga. On the morning show, Ebro, Lauren, you're the whitewashed urban guy. You're the white guy who shares all the same opinions as the fucking popular backpack, dirty white boy crowd.
In other words, Pete's a pawn. In the bigger picture, in the bigger puzzle of all this, he is the white perspective's ear. He needs the white listener to listen, and he's also cool and beastie boyish and can also relate to the black dude, Bill Clinton-ish kind of way. I have respect for Peter Rosenberg. Let me just keep it is, and whether he's loved or hate, I got respect for him. But ain't nobody dancing. Fuck the fuck out of here. I got respect that he can come on here and continuously get bashed and just have the guts to still deal with it, because he in some way or another is a pawn. And I think he realizes that, and he's cool in his place, and he can run off at the mouth, and he's real slick talking, and he can jump and jab with certain people, but the facts are the facts. And he's there for a certain reason, to appeal to a certain audience. And that was your biggest drip at your Eminems and your other white rappers, is though they almost got popularity because they went and took those white boys and just took the culture. Eminem can rap, but he also couldn't argue the fact that he was a pawn also in a greater grand scheme of things. And I think that Peter Rosenberg is no different.
Interesting perspective on that one, man. But yeah, man, you're listening to the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Old God and Sam, man.